Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man. Do not labor in vain. Don't labor in vain, such as the ostrich. And we're going to go into that later on. This is the book of Psalms, and this is Psalms 127, verse 1. It reads, a song of degrees for Solomon. Except Yahweh build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Except Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. Right. So if you not building on this word, it's in vain, because this word is the only thing that's going to save you in these last days. The word is the only thing that's going to let you know what's going on so that you don't get devoured. So whoever that you are watching and decided to be up under, if what they saying is not coming from this word, they are laboring in vain. So whatever doctrine or ideology they trying to, brainwash you with, if it's not in line with this word, everything that they tell you is in vain. Like the ostrich. We're going to get that ostrich later on. So except Yahweh build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. So they not really, giving you anything of value. They not telling you what's going on, what time you in, what procedures, precautions you need to take to know what's the next move, the next step of the enemy. They're not telling you anything. They just giving you a motivational speak, a feel-good speech. And if that's what you want, fine. Albeit. But just know, that's your decision. So one more time. A song of degrees for Solomon. Except Yahweh build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. And it tells us in the book of John, the 6th chapter, the 63rd verse, it is a spirit that quickeneth. The words that I speak unto you, they are life. And these words are the only thing that's going to save you in these last days, man. They're going to let you know what's going on, and what you need to do to prepare yourself. So this verse 2, it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows. That's right. Wondering where I'm going to get my next meal from, how I'm going to secure this bag, what is it going to take to have my offspring set for the next 2 or 3 or 4, however many generations you thinking you putting away right now. We get that in Haggai 1 and verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Yet ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. And that's why. Because everything you doing is all for nothing. You putting everything into bags with holes. Not to say that you can't use money for good, because it tells you in Ecclesiastes that money is a defense. The 12th verse. But it's what you do with that money, or how you cherish or worship that money, that's the problem. Pursuant to 1 Timothy, where it tells you the love of money is the root of all evil. Now you chasing the bag. And that bag, when you finally realize it may be too late to know that bag you've been chasing, the reason why you've been chasing it like a hamster on that wheel is because the bag you've been putting your life, everything that you know into, has holes into it. Laboring for nothing. Laboring in vain. So back to Psalms 127, in verse 2. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows. For so he giveth his beloved sleep. And we ain't sweating all that stuff. We get good sleep right now. His servants, because we know what time we in. And we know these prophecies have to be fulfilled in order for the kingdom to come. So we get good sleep. And it tells you in the book of Matthew that whichever house or city you go to, if they don't receive the word, dust off your feet. Don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. You did your job. You can sleep good at night. So we get our sleep knowing that we doing our job, our part, and the kingdom is right around the corner. So it says, it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Verse 3, lo, children are a heritage of Yahweh, and the fruit of the womb is his reward, and we are his reward. We are the heritage of Yahweh, pursuant to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. We are a holy people unto Yahweh. 4, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. And we are in the hands of our mighty man Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shai. Let me read that again. Verse 4, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. So we well taken care of, man. We ain't got nothing to worry about. See, we in the hands of a mighty man. We in the hands of this word. We are hedged through the truth, man. We know what's going on. We are measuring the time diligently. Preparing ourselves for the bridegroom. 5, happy is the man that have his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. So we gonna tell the enemies, we basically telling the enemies what time it is right now. Professing the word, letting them know we know who we are, and we know who you are, and we know what time it is. It gives you a prime example of that in Nehemiah. The 13th chapter, around the 19th verse. He had to lay hands on those merchants and sellers that were coming to the gates and trying to sell the children of Israel things on the Sabbath, man. So in that same spirit, we are here at these gates letting these other nations know that we know what time it is. And we're not ashamed of our power. And we serving him. It's nothing for us to keep the Sabbath. We not laboring in vain. We not putting our earned wages in holes with bags. See, our wages are being put in something that's going to bear fruit. While the wages of this world, they don't bear fruit. Yeah, you might think for the time being, because you got a nice crib or a car or whatever, and you got money put away in the bank, that you taking care of for the long run, but what you fail to realize is that long run is right around the corner. And that bag you've been putting all your life earnings and savings into, it has holes in it. See, this society, this current reserve that we are using is getting ready to crash. Sorry for the dramatics, but this current reserve that is the world reserve is getting ready to crash, man. You're seeing interest rates go up, you're seeing inflation, you're seeing all these signs right now. And we know what time it is. So don't labor in vain. Don't labor in vain. Which brings me to my last point. The ostrich. And this is Job 39. And we're going to start at around verse number 13. Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth her eggs in the earth, and warmeth them in the dust? So the ostrich, she leaves her eggs on the earth. She don't bury them. She don't put them in hiding. She don't put them in anywhere safe. She just puts them right out in the open, in the public, where any type of elements could come and meet it with, bad intentions. Whether it's the sun boiling the eggs, or whether it's another animal eating the egg, or whether it's herself stepping on the egg. Not to get ahead of myself. So let's read. 15. And forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them. So the ostrich lay eggs and forget that she may even step on her own eggs, or that a wild beast may find them and eat them, because she doesn't take the time to put her eggs in a secure location. 16. She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear, because she has no understanding. So she has no fear. And it tells you in Psalms 111, a good understanding is those who have an understanding keep the commandments. So this ostrich, she has no fear, she has no understanding. Verse 17, because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. So she don't know that she's not supposed to lay her eggs underground to keep it cool from the sun, or put it in the bushes somewhere to hide it from, other predators, or to watch her step closely so she don't crush the eggs. She just labor in vain. If a egg out of the bunch survive, fine and dandy. If not, it don't matter to her. She laboring in vain. So we cannot labor in vain in these last days like the ostrich. We got to be aware and know that we are in these days, in these last days, and we got to get ourselves together. So unless Yahweh build a house, they labor in vain that building. Unless he keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. So make sure you are building and watching the city with the word, and not in vain with your own doctrine, with your own ideologies, with your own philosophies that don't even make sense. So we're going to close this out, and we're going to go to 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, and we're going to take it from there. And it reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And if you like that ostrich who lay your eggs out in the open, he will devour them, no doubt. won't even think twice about it. And even worse, if you like the ostrich and lay your eggs out in the opening and have the elements take them, whether it's the heat from the sun or the predators or even worse, your own self stepping on it, all your works, all your labor is in vain. So we're going to read this one more time and we're going to close out. This is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. And it reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And trust me, he is looking to devour. And if you have your eggs out and about like that ostrich, he will walk by and won't think twice about cracking them open and eating all of what's inside it. So don't labor in vain. Keep in this word. Know what time you in. Know that we are close to the end. And be waiting on our Lord and Savior, Yahushua. So with that being said, Shalom.